HBO is not just protecting Game of Thrones anymore, they are building an empire around it. And the biggest move they are about to make could change the way we experience this universe forever. Because for the first time in the history of this franchise, we might not be getting a TV series, we might be getting a full-scale theatrical trilogy. And honestly, I think that decision alone could define whether Game of Thrones stays relevant for the next decade or fades into nostalgia. Hey, what's up everyone? Come back to break down Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. So here's the situation. HBO is currently developing Aegon's Conquest, and they are deciding between two very different formats. One option is a traditional TV series, multiple seasons, hours of character development, slow political build-up, basically the formula that made Game of Thrones what it was. The other option is a trilogy of massive theatrical films. Think Dune-level scale. Think $200 million budgets. Think dragons bigger than anything we have ever seen on House of the Dragon. And to me, that is one of the most exciting creative crossroads this franchise has ever faced.
Because both options come with massive strengths and real risks. Let me break down why. If they go the movie route, the biggest advantage is spectacle. Aegon's Conquest is not a story built on quiet political scheming like the original series. This is a story about 3 Targaryens riding the largest dragons in recorded history and burning entire kingdoms into submission. That kind of story needs scale. It needs fire filling the screen. It needs battles that feel like world-ended events. And honestly, a TV budget, even one as big as House of the Dragons, might not be enough to do it justice. We already saw this problem play out when House of the Dragon had to cut episodes from Season 2 because of budget limitations. Major battle sequences got pushed to Season 3 simply because they could not afford them in the same year. Now imagine trying to do Aegon's Conquest on that same budget. 3 massive dragons, multiple wars across an entire continent, years of conflict compressed into a visual experience. To me, it makes complete sense why HBO is even considering the movie format, because this story almost demands it. But here is my concern with movies.
If they go the trilogy route, we are probably looking at around 9 hours total. That is a lot of screen time for most franchises, but for a story this dense, it might not be enough. Aegon's life covers so much ground. His early years on Dragonstone, his involvement in the Century of Blood across Essos, the actual War of Conquest across all 7 kingdoms, his reign after the war, the Dornish conflicts, the mystery of the letter from Nemor Martell, and the emotional dynamics between him and his 2 sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys. Fitting all of that into 3 films means something gets cut, and in Game of Thrones, the stuff that usually gets cut is the character work. That is the trade-off. Movies give you spectacle, but a series gives you depth. And personally, I lean toward the series if they can make the budget work, because what made Game of Thrones special was never just the battles. It was the conversations before the battles, the tension in a room full of people who all want different things, the slow unraveling of alliances, the quiet betrayals. If Aegon's Conquest becomes just a dragon war movie, it might look incredible, but it could lose the emotional weight that makes this franchise different from every other fantasy property.
That said, I completely understand the argument for movies. And if they deliver something on the level of Dune Part 1 and Part 2, then I am absolutely on board. Now, one thing that makes this project tricky, regardless of format, is the source material. George R.R. Martin has written about Aegon's Conquest, but not in the same detailed novel format he used for the original series. What exists is more of a historical outline, bullet points across a timeline, key events without the full emotional texture you would normally want for adaptation. We have already seen how that plays out with House of the Dragon. Some parts of that show are brilliant because the writers filled in the gaps perfectly. Other parts feel aimless because there was not enough foundational material to build on, and I think that is a fair concern for Aegon's Conquest, too. Whoever writes this, whether it is the movie script or the series version, is going to need heavy involvement from Martin himself to make it feel authentic. Right now, the person writing the first movie script is the same writer behind one of the most praised recent sci-fi projects, which gives me a lot of confidence. That is someone who understands how to balance world building with emotional storytelling, and for a project like this, you need both. As for casting, nothing has been announced yet because the project is still in early development. But if this does become a theatrical trilogy, I would expect them to go after much bigger names than they normally would for a TV series. That's just how the movie business works. Bigger budget means bigger stars.
And honestly, I would love to see what kind of talent they attract for roles like Aegon, Visenya, and Rhaenys. Those three characters alone could carry an entire franchise if cast correctly. Now, beyond Aegon's conquest, there is a lot more happening in the Game of Thrones universe right now. House of the Dragon Season 3 is on the way. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is almost done filming its second season. There's talk of an animated series based on the Sea Snake's early voyages. A Nymeria and 10,000 Ships series is also in development. And there's even a stage play covering the tourney at Harrenhal and the events leading into Robert's Rebellion. To me, that is a sign that HBO is not slowing down. They are accelerating. And the Paramount situation honestly does not seem like it will change that. From everything we've heard, the new leadership wants HBO to keep doing exactly what it has been doing, and Game of Thrones specifically was mentioned as one of the properties they are most excited about. So, if anything, this franchise might have even more support going forward than it had before. Now, here's my honest take on all of this. I think the Game of Thrones universe is in a healthier place than people realize.
Yes, there have been stumbles. Yes, House of the Dragon has had mixed moments, but the foundation is still strong. The audience is still massive, and the stories waiting to be told are genuinely exciting. Aegon's Conquest in particular feels like the kind of project that could reignite the same level of cultural conversation that the original series created. Whether it comes as a movie or a series, I just want them to get it right. Give us the dragons, give us the fire, but more importantly, give us the characters and the emotional weight that made this world matter in the first place. But anyway, that is my full breakdown on the Aegon's Conquest movie development and everything else happening in the Game of Thrones universe right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you want Aegon's Conquest as a trilogy of films or a full TV series? I will catch you in the next one.